In this video, we dive into the world of iconic engines that shaped automotive history. Featuring some of the most powerful and groundbreaking designs ever created. From high-performance muscle to enduring classics, which engine truly stands above the rest? Join us as we count down our top picks and reveal the best of the best in engine engineering. Engine number 20, the C4 Corvette ZR1. Let's talk about an engine so advanced, it redefined what American performance could look like. The Chevrolet LT5 V8, the exotic heart of the C4 Corvette ZR1. But what happens when you mix American muscle with British engineering finesse? The Chevrolet LT5 V8 wasn't just another small block. It was a revolutionary 5.7-liter all-aluminum DOHC beast, co-developed by Lotus Engineering and hand-built by Mercury Marine. Featuring 32 valves, a high 11:1 compression ratio, and a screaming 7,200 RPM redline, it pushed 375 horsepower in early models and ramped up to 405 horsepower in later versions. But what really made the LT5 unique? It used a dual plenum intake system with 3 bodies and 16 intake runners, a design that boosted airflow efficiency and throttle response. It was a purebred performance engine housed in only one car, the 1990 through 1995 C4 Corvette ZR1, the so-called King of the Hill. With a 0 to 60 time at just 4.3 seconds and a top speed of over 180 miles an hour, the LT5 shattered expectations. Isn't it wild that GM never reused this marvel in any other model? Engine number 19, Chevrolet 348 V8. Moving on to engine 19, let's rewind the clock to 1958. How do you lay the groundwork for a legend like the 409 without something bold leading the charge? Enter the Chevrolet 348 V8, GM's first venture into big block territory and the pioneer of the iconic W Series. With its unmistakable scallop valve covers and its purpose-built design for torque-heavy applications, the 348 was a mechanical trailblazer aimed at giving heftier Chevys and medium-duty trucks the muscle they craved. Unlike the small blocks that came before, the 348 brought radical engineering to the table. Its combustion chamber wasn't in the head, it was cleverly formed by tilting the deck and crowning the pistons, creating a wedge shape that improved combustion and minimized knock. It used a side oiling system for robust lubrication and borrowed features like tubular push rods and stamped rocker arms from its small block cousin. Performance variants range from the 250 HP turbo thrust to the ferocious Special Super Turbo Thrust, which cranked out 350 horsepower. Would anyone have expected such an experimental engine to become the ancestor of GM's most feared V8s? The 348 didn't just show up, it made a statement. Engine number 18, Pontiac Trophy 4. Now for engine 18, let's talk about an oddball that split convention right down the middle. What happens when you literally cut a V8 in half? You get the Pontiac Trophy 4, an experimental inline-4 engine that dared to be different. Produced from 1961 to 1963 and built specifically for the first-generation Pontiac Tempest, the Trophy 4 was essentially one bank of Pontiac's 389 cubic inch V8, resulting in a 194.5 cubic inch engine with V8 DNA and a surprising amount of punch. This 45-degree inclined inline 4 wasn't just about creative part spin engineering. It was a bold solution for packaging and performance. Tipping the engine allowed it to nestle under the Tempest low hood line, and it was paired with a rear-mounted transaxle and a flexible rope drive shaft. The result? Near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution and sports car-like handling in a humble American sedan. It came in multiple flavors, a modest 110 horsepower version, a mid-tier 140 horsepower, and a potent 166 horsepower variant with a 4-barrel carb. Sure, it vibrated like a jackhammer, but Pontiac fought back with rubber mounts and clever drivetrain tuning. Was it practical? Not always. But was it bold? Absolutely. Engine number 17, GMC Toro-Flow diesels. What happens when a company known for muscle cars tries to build a diesel from a gasoline blueprint? The GMC Toro-Flow diesels, introduced in 1964, were GM's daring and ultimately troubled leap into diesel technology for medium-duty trucks. Rather than designing a diesel from scratch, GMC started with their gasoline V6 architecture, then overhauled it entirely with chromium nickel iron blocks, unique cylinder heads, and reinforced components. While they looked similar to their gas siblings, these engines shared almost no internal parts. The lineup included the D351, D478, and DH637, with the biggest delivering up to 225 horsepower. With 17.5:1 compression ratios and surprisingly decent fuel economy, 15 to 16 miles per gallon, these diesels seem promising for applications like city buses and military ambulances. But things fell apart under pressure, literally. Oil pump gear failures, overheating under heavy loads, and poor durability doomed them in rugged settings. Sure, they were fuel efficient and innovative, but were they ever built to last? The Toro-Flows were discontinued by the early 1970s, but they remain a fascinating footnote in GM's engineering history. Engine number 16, Northstar V8. Moving on to engine 16, we explore one of GM's most ambitious engineering marvels, the Northstar V8, a power plant that aimed to blend luxury with cutting-edge technology. But did its futuristic design live up to the hype, or did it collapse under its own complexity? The Northstar V8, introduced in 1993, was GM's bold response to European luxury performance engines, especially from Mercedes and BMW. It was an all-aluminum, dual overhead cam design with 4 valves per cylinder, and even featured fail-safes rarely seen in American cars. Its most famous innovation? The limp home mode, which let the engine run without coolant for up to 50 miles by alternating cylinder firing. Who else dared to design such an extreme survival mechanism? Later iterations even included variable valve timing, optimizing power and fuel efficiency on the fly. High-performance trims like the supercharged 4.4-liter LC3 pushed up to 469 horsepower, powering models like the STSV and the XLR-V. But despite its brilliance, the Northstar struggled with head gasket failures, thanks to torque-to-yield bolts, as well as oil leaks and carbon buildup that caused excessive oil consumption. And let's not forget the nightmare repairs, like the starter buried under the intake manifold. So, was the Northstar ahead of its time, or just over-engineered? Engine 15, Oldsmobile 4.3-liter V8 diesel. Now, let's dive into Engine 15, a bold but ultimately flawed chapter in GM's diesel experiment, the Oldsmobile 4.3-liter V8 diesel. What happens when a gasoline engine is modified to run on diesel fuel? In this case, you get a series of engineering compromises that led to a tarnished legacy. Released in 1979, this 260 cubic inch V8 diesel was meant to provide better fuel economy amid rising fuel prices. However, the decision to reuse many components from the 350 cubic inch gasoline V8 was a costly one. The higher compression of the diesel engine placed excessive stress on the head bolts, leading to frequent head gasket failures. The engine's fuel system was also vulnerable to contamination, lacking a water separator, which led to corrosion. Despite producing only 90 horsepower and 160 pound-feet of torque, the 4.3-liter diesel V8 proved underpowered for the Oldsmobile Cutlass, leading to its short-lived production run. Today, it's often cited as a cautionary tale about rushed engineering and cost-cutting decisions. Engine number 14, Pontiac 336, marketed as 326 V8. Moving on to Engine 14, let's dive into a fascinating piece of automotive history, the Pontiac 336 V8, which was marketed as the 326. Why would Pontiac choose to label an engine with a 336.6 cubic inch displacement as a 326? Released in 1963 for the Tempest and the Le Mans, the 336 V8, despite its true size, was marketed as a 326. Was this a clever marketing move to stay competitive, or did it have more to do with internal strategy? This engine, based on the 389 V8, came in 2 versions. the standard 250 horsepower variant, and the high-output 280 horsepower version, which featured a 4-barrel carburetor and dual exhaust. The discrepancy in displacement was resolved in 1964 when Pontiac adjusted the engine's bore to meet GM's new corporate policy. Today, the Pontiac 336, marketed as 326, is a rare gem, still sought after by collectors and enthusiasts for its intriguing backstory and impressive performance. Its one-year production run, coupled with the displacement discrepancy, makes it a unique chapter in automotive history. Engine number 13, Buick 215 V8. Next up, Engine 13 takes us into the realm of groundbreaking engineering with the Buick 215 V8. Introduced in 1961, this 3.5-liter V8 engine was ahead of its time thanks to its all-aluminum construction that made it one of the lightest V8 engines in history. Weighing just 324 pounds, it significantly improved vehicle handling and fuel efficiency, making it a standout in its class. But how did Buick achieve such a feat? By reducing weight while maintaining solid performance through a 3.5-inch bore and a 2.80-inch stroke, this engine became a reliable, compact powerhouse. Available in 2 versions, it powered various GM models, including the Buick Special, Oldsmobile F85, and Pontiac Tempest. The 2-barrel carburetor version delivered 155 horsepower at 4,600 RPMs, while the 4-barrel carburetor version pushed out 200 horsepower at 4,800 RPM. While its U.S. production was brief from 1961 to 1963, the engine's legacy lived on globally when Rover acquired the rights in 1965, adapting it for Range Rover and Land Rover vehicles. Its lasting influence on automotive engineering makes the Buick 215 a favorite among car enthusiasts worldwide. Engine 12, Cadillac V8-6-4. Let's dive into Engine 12, a pioneering yet ultimately flawed attempt at revolutionizing fuel efficiency, the Cadillac V8-6-4. Introduced in 1981, this engine was designed to optimize fuel economy by dynamically deactivating cylinders based on driving conditions, allowing the engine to operate as an 8-cylinder, 6-cylinder, or 4-cylinder unit. This groundbreaking concept aimed to offer the best of both worlds, power when needed and efficiency when cruising. But did it live up to its promise? Despite its innovative design, the V8-6-4 suffered from significant reliability issues, which led to its discontinuation after only 1 year of production. The V8-6-4 was based on Cadillac's 368 cubic inch, 6.0-liter V8 with a variable displacement system developed in collaboration with the Eaton Corporation. The system used an electronic control module to deactivate cylinders, but poor software and limitations in technology led to erratic performance. Drivers reported rough transitions between cylinder modes, with jerking, bucking, and even stalling. Despite its brief life, the V8-6-4 set the stage for modern variable displacement technologies, influencing future advancements in fuel-efficient engines. Number 11. Oldsmobile Jetfire Turbo V8. For Engine 11, let's explore a groundbreaking engine that was far ahead of its time, the Oldsmobile Jetfire Turbo V8, introduced in 1962. This engine made history as the first turbocharged V8 to be used in a production car, installed in the Oldsmobile F85 Jetfire. Aimed at combining performance with advanced technology, the Jetfire Turbo V8 was a game-changer in the automotive world. But how well did it perform? Despite its innovative design, the engine faced several challenges that led to its discontinuation after just 2 years. The Jetfire Turbo V8 was based on the 215 cubic inch, 3.5-liter aluminum V8, and Garrett Air Research developed a turbocharging system to add a modest 5 psi of boost. To prevent engine knock and manage the increased air temperature, the system featured a water methyl alcohol injection called turbo rocket fluid, a system that was innovative but required constant maintenance. The engine produced 215 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque, allowing the Jetfire to reach 60 miles per hour in 9.2 seconds, a major performance improvement. However, the reliance on turbo rocket fluid and its tendency to detonate under high compression led to its short-lived production. Despite its struggles, the Jetfire Turbo V8 is remembered for influencing future forced induction technologies and leaving an indelible mark on automotive history. Loving these engine breakdowns? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more iconic power plants coming up, and you won't want to miss what's next. Engine 10, Buick 455 V8. Up next, Engine 10 brings us the Buick 455 V8, an engine that defined the muscle car era with its remarkable torque and performance. Introduced in 1970, the 455 V8 quickly became a staple in Buick's performance lineup, especially in the GS 455 and Riviera GS models. But what made this engine such a standout during the muscle car revolution? The key was its massive torque output, which was more than any other muscle car engine at the time. The Buick 455 V8 featured an impressive 4.3125-inch bore and 3.900-inch stroke, resulting in a displacement of 455 cubic inches or 7.5 liters. Designed for delivering massive low-end torque, the base version of the engine produced 350 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and a staggering 510 pound-feet of torque at just 2,800 RPM. The Stage 1 version pushed this even further with 360 horsepower, maintaining the same torque output, though enthusiasts believed its actual horsepower was underrated by as much as 35 horsepower. The 455 V8 powered a range of Buick models, including the GS 455, Riviera GS, and Electra 225. The engine's impressive torque made it a favorite for both strong acceleration and effortless highway cruising, providing performance and comfort in equal measure. Today, it remains a cherished big block engine for enthusiasts and collectors, with a thriving aftermarket supporting performance builds and restorations. Engine 9, Chevrolet 302 V8. Now let's dive into engine number 9, where the Chevrolet 302 V8 reigns as a high-revving legend in the world of motorsports. Introduced in 1967, this engine was engineered specifically to dominate the SCCA Trans Am Racing Series, where it quickly earned a reputation for its performance and precision. So, what made the 302 V8 such a standout engine in a time when American muscle was at its peak? The heart of the 302 V8 was a unique combination of a 283 cubic inch 4.6 liter crankshaft and a 327 cubic inch 5.4 liter block, resulting in a 302.4 cubic inch 4.9 liter displacement. With a compression ratio of 11:1 and a solid lifter camshaft, this engine could easily rev up to 7,500 RPM, making it a powerful force on the track. Its design also featured double hub cylinder heads and a dual-plane aluminum intake manifold, optimizing performance for high-speed racing. The 302 V8 powered the 1967 to 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, helping the Z28 secure back-to-back Trans Am championships in 1968 and 1969, driven by Mark Donohue. This engine also left its mark in Formula 5000 racing in Australia and New Zealand, where it dominated, outpacing even the Repco Holden V8. Today, the Chevrolet 302 V8 is celebrated for its engineering excellence and remains a sought-after engine among enthusiasts, cementing its legacy as a pivotal part of American performance engineering. Engine number 8, Buick Nailhead V8. For engine number 8, we dive into the Buick Nailhead V8, introduced in 1953, a distinctive engine known for its unique vertical valve orientation and compact design. But why was this configuration so revolutionary? Well, the Nailhead's narrow 22.5-degree V angle allowed for a shorter engine length, making it ideal for Buick's larger full-size vehicles. The vertical valves created a near-hemispherical combustion chamber, promoting efficient combustion, especially at low RPMs. However, the engine's small valve diameters, 1.75-inch intake and 1.25-inch exhaust, were somewhat restrictive, limiting its ability to perform at higher RPMs. Despite this, the Nailhead's torque became its signature trait. The 425 cubic inch version produced 340 horsepower and an impressive 465 pound-feet of torque, offering strong acceleration and effortless cruising. particularly in the Buick Electra and Riviera models. While eventually replaced by Buick's big block V8 in 1967, the Nailhead V8 remains cherished for its unique design and torque-oriented performance, leaving a lasting legacy among classic car enthusiasts and collectors. Number 7. Chevrolet 400 V8. Moving on to Engine 7, the Chevrolet 400 V8, introduced in 1970, was a unique variant of the small block engine family, offering a 4.125-inch bore and a 3.75-inch stroke, giving it a displacement of 400 cubic inches or 6.6 liters. This long stroke configuration aimed to provide strong low-end torque, making it ideal for street performance builds. But was the design really as flawless as it seemed? The increased stroke length, however, came with challenges. The longer stroke led to oiling issues, especially at high RPMs, while some owners reported oil pressure loss despite no obvious mechanical problems. Additionally, the thin cylinder walls of the 400 block made it prone to overheating and cracking when modified for performance. Despite these drawbacks, the 400 V8 was used in Chevelle and Impala models, offering solid performance for full-size vehicles. Today, it remains popular among enthusiasts, particularly with modifications to improve its oiling systems and reinforce cylinder walls thanks to strong aftermarket support. Engine 6. Chevrolet LT1 V8 from 1970 to 1972. Next up is Engine 6, the Chevrolet LT1 V8, produced between 1970 and 1972. It stands out as a high-performance small block engine that navigated the tightening emissions regulations of the era. This 350 cubic inch 5.7-liter engine was designed to deliver exceptional power while grappling with the emerging environmental standards. The LT1 featured a high compression ratio of 11:1 in its initial year, paired with solid lifters, a high lift camshaft, and a Holley 780 CFM 4-barrel carburetor. This setup resulted in robust performance, but as emissions regulations tightened, the compression ratio dropped to 9:1 by 1971, which led to a reduction in horsepower. Despite this, the LT1 remained known for its high revving nature and strong torque output. Found in Corvette and Camaro Z28 models, the LT1 produced 370 horsepower in its 1970 version, allowing the Corvette to reach 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 6 seconds. Today, the LT1 is celebrated by enthusiasts for its engineering excellence and remains a sought-after piece of automotive history. Engine 5, the Chevrolet 454 V8. Next up, Engine 5, the Chevrolet 454 V8, introduced in 1970, is an iconic big block engine celebrated for its immense torque and versatility. Originally developed for performance applications, it found its way into various vehicles, offering more power than many needed. The 454 V8 is part of Chevrolet's Mark IV big block engine family, featuring a 4.25-inch bore and a 4-inch stroke, resulting in a 454 cubic inch, 7.4 liters displacement. This configuration produced substantial low-end torque and high horsepower output. The LS6 variant, in its peak performance form, delivered up to 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful production engines of its era. The 454 V8 powered various vehicles, including the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454, Corvette, heavy-duty trucks, motorhomes, and even marine applications. Despite its overbuilt nature in some cases, the 454's robustness made it a popular choice across industries. Its legendary power, durability, and versatility have cemented its place in automotive history, and the 454 V8 remains available as a crate engine, allowing modern vehicles to tap into its performance legacy. Engine 4, Buick 400 V8. The Buick 400 V8, produced from 1967 to 1970, was a departure from earlier Buick V8 designs, incorporating innovative features that set it apart. With a bore of 4.040 inches and a stroke of 3.900 inches, it had a displacement of 400 cubic inches or 6.6 liters, optimizing torque and performance. But what made this engine so unique? The 400 V8 featured unique bore centers, contributing to its distinctive engine architecture. Additionally, its strong and lightweight rotating assembly improved both durability and responsiveness. Could this engineering choice have been the key to its lasting success? The Buick 400 V8 powered several noteworthy models, including the 1967 and 1969 Buick Skylark GS400, the 1968 to 1970 Buick Riviera, and the 1969 to 1970 Buick Electra 225. In the 1968 Buick GS400, it delivered 340 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque, providing strong acceleration and a thrilling driving experience. Was this blend of luxury and performance the perfect recipe for success? The Buick 400 V8 remains an iconic example of innovative engineering in its era. Engine 3. Pontiac 421 V8. Moving on to the top 3 picks, let's take a closer look at the Pontiac 421 V8, a distinctive evolution in Pontiac's engine lineup. Introduced in 1961, this engine was essentially a bored-out version of a 389 V8, setting it apart from traditional big block engines. But what made the 421 so special? The 421 V8 featured a 4.09 375-inch bore and a 3.75-inch stroke, yielding a displacement of 421 cubic inches or 6.9 liters. This design maintained the compact nature of its predecessor, the 389, while adding more power. Was it all about performance, or did this design have hidden benefits? The 421 also introduced big journal main bearings, which enhanced durability. Could this have been the key to its lasting legacy? In terms of performance, the 421 V8 powered vehicles like the 1961 to 1963 Pontiac Catalina and Tempest, offering significant upgrades in power. Notably, the Super Duty versions had even more impressive horsepower figures, despite being replaced by larger engines like the 428 and 455 V8s. The Pontiac 421 remains a fan favorite in the classic car world. Could its unique evolution be the reason it still has a dedicated following today? Engine 2. Pontiac 455 V8. Moving on to Engine 2, let's explore the Pontiac 455 V8, introduced in 1970. While the 455 was part of a broader family of engines, it was the two-barrel version that stood out due to its focus on low-end torque rather than high RPM horsepower. Could this emphasis on torque be the key to its popularity in certain applications? The Pontiac 455 featured a displacement of 455 cubic inches or 7.5 liters and a compression ratio of 7.9 to 1. Equipped with a Rochester 2GC two-barrel carburetor, it produced 192 horsepower at 4,400 RPM and 297 pound-feet of torque at 2,800 RPM. While these numbers may seem modest by muscle car standards, the engine excelled in providing strong acceleration at lower speeds. Isn't it surprising how torque can sometimes be more beneficial than raw horsepower? Used in full-size Pontiac models like the 1970 to 1972 Pontiac Bonneville and Pontiac Catalina, the 455 two-barrel engine was perfect for drivers seeking a smooth, powerful ride without needing high revving performance. Its legacy lives on as a prime example of Pontiac's ability to tailor engines to diverse driving needs. Can a focus on torque still be just as valuable as a quest for sheer horsepower? And engine number 1, Oldsmobile 455 Rocket V8. Finally, let's take a look at our top engine pick, the Oldsmobile 455 Rocket V8, introduced in 1968. This engine stands as a cornerstone in Oldsmobile's legacy, combining substantial torque and smooth performance, making it a favorite among full-size luxury sedans. But what makes the two-barrel version of this engine so special despite being less aggressive than its four-barrel counterparts? With a displacement of 455 cubic inches or 7.5 liters and a compression ratio of 8.75 to 1, the 455 Rocket V8 utilized a Rochester 2GC two-barrel carburetor, delivering 310 horsepower at 4,400 RPM and an impressive 500 pound-feet of torque at 2,800 RPM. This combination prioritized low-end torque, perfect for a smooth, powerful ride in full-size sedans. Could it be that the real power of the 455 is found not in high revving performance, but in its effortless low RPM strength? Used in models like the 1970 to 1972 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale and the Oldsmobile 98, this engine was designed for comfort, cruising, and towing rather than drag strip performance. Its enduring legacy lies in its smooth power delivery and reliability, making it a cherished engine among classic car enthusiasts. And that wraps up our countdown of the most legendary engines in automotive history. From brute torque to brilliant engineering, each one left a lasting mark. Which one was your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Gearhead content coming your way.